or anything? I mean,
I'd like to call out to order the Open Space Acquisition Farmland Preservation Subcommittee, Tuesday, May 28th, 6 PM. Anybody from the public here for a comment? A little guy back there?
I don't know if you had a question or not.
Seeing nobody, can I get the approval of the minutes for April 23rd, 2024?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Discussion, we got an update on the Rocky Hill Community Farm.
Yep. There we go. So the foundation's in and backfilled. Plumbing, future plumbing is in. The floor's poured. The next phase is going to be the barn. It's scheduled for next week.
Great.
So we'll see. The town manager has a name of 2 folks who are going to video. I'm not sure if it's going to be time lapse, if they have that capability or not, but he has 2 different folks who are going to do some videos. It's going to be assembled in, they said, June 4th to June 7th, so it's at 4 days. I think it comes, you know, like each panel is probably assembled and just lifted in place. So it's coming out of Pennsylvania. We've done a whole bunch of grading. I don't know if anybody's been out there recently. It's graded. There's channels, stone channels. Grass is growing. All the trees that need to be removed are removed, covered. There's still some more seeding that's going to be done. You know, once the construction's done. That's just nature of the beast. You got to get that done so you don't do it twice.
Do you know about the extension for the date to
We're
complete?
more than good with that. Yeah.
No, it was June 1st.
No, it's
No, he
actually
got another one.
like
They moved it,
December.
yeah. It's like September something.
Yeah, I want to say it's December.
Yeah, I heard they moved it, but
Yeah,
we
no,
haven't officially
it's
been
way out.
told
Yeah,
here
well, we'll
by our
have.
committee.
Yeah, I don't have the exact date. I know that when I was looking at the reconciling some of the invoices, the paperwork from DECD had, I think it was December.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're good. We'll have this barn up by then.
Perfect.
The only thing we're not going to meet, of course, would be like a retainage. You got to hold retainage for a year. So, but other than that, everything will be done.
Good. Councilor Emanuel, any questions on the barn? Savini?
In terms of Bob Alvarado's involvement, is he still involved? or
Bob
when
is
does-
his time is done.
Done,
Yeah.
okay.
So.
And then, so would you be responsible for the overlooking the construction and whatever?
That would be the building officials.
Okay.
They take care of all that code type of stuff.
Okay. No, just,
That's why Bob is-
wrapping up those
Yeah.
final things. you
Yeah,
know.
Bob was in for the civil site work kind of stuff.
Yep.
He took care of that. Construction is building.
Mm-hmm.
And then our highway department's gonna finish off everything else.
They are, okay. Okay. Just curious, who is gonna be responsible for mowing? Obviously, it's parks,
I would think it's parks.
but that has to be added to their schedule then, right?
I would think, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, highways can
Road
do it.
doesn't- yeah.
But their mower, I don't know if it's, I mean, right now, you don't want to put anything heavy on those slopes.
Right.
They're soft.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see that, okay.
Mrs. Clemens, anything?
No, I'm good. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay. Mr. Duff?
yeah, just a couple questions. We started before the meeting, we were just chatting about security, gates, trying to, since the site is going to become perhaps more accessible, more inviting to folks, but also we want to make sure they're not using it inappropriately. What do next steps there look like?
Well, as I was saying prior to the meeting, it's a shame, but as soon as the contractor pulled out and no one was there on a day-to-day, somebody dumped, I'm guessing it was a contractor, because there's like 10 bags of shingles, box for a roof vent, so it would appear to be a contractor or some homeowner, but it's a shame that somebody had to do that. So we had to pick that up and dispose of it at our cost. So now we're talking gates. Farm gates at the 2 entrances. As for any kind of security, there is no power. at this time. I'm not sure. I mean, that wasn't in any plan right now, but that's something we can look at moving forward. And there's money that was put aside in the budget. I think it was 50,000, I believe. I'm not positive.
I think they bumped it to 100,000 for various
Because I know
projects on the
there's
site.
yeah, there's different numbers being thrown around. I don't know exactly what was finally approved.
Yeah, and I wonder as well, in terms of security, you know, not having power is seen as an issue, certainly, but you can get trail cams that are pretty sensitive, fairly cheap. Now, I don't know about if they could take a picture of a license plate, but, you know, I've had them up in my woods, and they're sensitive enough that if the trees blow around, you can see stuff. I
Those
mean,
battery?
battery powered, and I didn't go off the top shelf. I think I got a pair of them off of Amazon for like $80.
Yeah. So,
So, you know, something that might be a deterrent, because I don't know how many times it would take, but if someone gets caught dumping, especially if it's someone who's got, you know, like a licensed business, they're a contractor.
well, if we have the gates, it's going to be hard to get on the property because it's going to be out closer to the road. You'll be able to pull in one car length, get out, unlock, open, drive in.
Yeah, because that might be another
So-
thing as well to consider, at least as a stopgap. And then I was also just going to ask, what does our next phase look like, and, you know, ribbon cutting, public access, anything like that?
I've not heard anything about that. I mean, right now it's going to get the barn up, all the site work completed, and that's something I have to discuss with the town manager.
Ms. Gilbert?
Well, I'm thinking that solar panel cameras over there hanging off the barn would probably, you know, as long as we're getting license plates, I think we're good.
That's something we can look at.
I think we're good. Oh, no.
Good idea.
I think, I do like the idea of the trail, solar cameras or whatever. If nothing else, we got a sign up saying surveillance, right? To Christopher's
Yeah.
point, there is somewhat of a deterrent there. I would think if somebody's dumping, they may cover their license plate, by the way.
You
Not-
never know.
Not thinking like a thief, but whatever.
Yeah, and thieves don't think. Don't you watch those shows on TV? And,
Yeah, well, yeah,
what
no,
was this guy thinking?
exactly. But,
If it's
you
a
know.
contractor, though, you'll see the side of their.
Yeah.
If it's a
Well, there's
contractor, I mean,
information
but if
on
the
it.
contractor, I mean, usually somebody who's a contractor, if they're dumping, they're also not pulling a permit and probably not advertising.
Not a
We're
si-
hoping it wasn't a contractor. We just don't know who it was. Could have been a homeowner. But it's definitely a remodel kind of thing.
I think, you know, the site looks good. The grass is growing down there. It's nicely graded again. I think a lot of credit we got to give Bob Alvarado for getting that done properly, and as well as thank our town manager that he just kept them there long enough to get it going, and
Yeah, and as I said, you know,
did what he
we,
had to do to get it properly done.
yeah, we just didn't
Nice.
have the staff to be out there. We had a consultant that was doing that, but just they couldn't have somebody there the same hours as Bob.
No,
It worked out
That was
great.
good.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Also want to thank town manager for getting that extension on the
Mm-hmm.
time to build this barn, you know, so we didn't lose the grant.
Yeah,
So
we
that was a big help.
Extended twice.
Right,
Yeah.
so that's perfect.
Yeah.
So that was a good job on his part, too.
You know, if I can say one more thing, somebody asked about a ribbon cutting. I don't know, was it you? Yeah, I do like that idea. It creates a deadline, by the way.
I do have it noted here, so I'll talk to
Yeah,
the manager.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, once the barn gets up, or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we could determine that. All right, we had some information on open space farmland preservation plan.
So I believe that items B and C are kind of similar, the same thing. So in your packet, I'm not sure I have a couple different items here, and it's probably emailed, not printed out, right? You got a little map. So I have here some updates.
Okay.
I got like one for two people kind of here, so let me hand these out. So this is the one you should have got. I need one. Got plenty more coming. You too?
Suitable for framing.
We didn't get the maps on our emails.
Did they come in the email?
I don't think so.
We got the spreadsheet.
All right, so We'll go
I had a
through
hard
this.
time printing it.
So that's, and then for you two down there, I'm gonna share with the Franny here.
We're sharing.
So-
We're sharing us girls. Did you?
So this first map here is, I mean, there's a legend, you can follow it, but I have some stuff that's easier. This is every parcel that is, quote, vacant or open space in town. And it includes everything, whether it be, you know, half acre up to, you know, 100+ acres. So it's a little busy. So what I'd like to give you is the next one that the manager asked for, and it's a little naked here. This will be every, vacant parcel in town, and I have a list, and I have reduced sizes, which you can see the quality of our new copier. So,
No one still counts for coffee,
I'm gonna give you these. This is the list. Now, Ray sent one out, the manager sent one out the other day, and I amended it, because some of them were like, say, 125 Henkel Way, which is the vessel going up, so we had to take that off.
Steve, could you just clarify, when we say vacant, that just means not developed? It doesn't mean there's no owner? Like, how are we using the
Oh,
term?
somebody owns it, yeah. I
So
mean, every
someone
parcel's
owns
by
it, it's just
somebody.
not developed?
Correct. So, here's this. Now, this is just gonna be, and these are all over 5 acres. This is just vacant land, town-owned and privately owned.
Okay.
So you can see what's available. Yeah, yellow is private, blue is town-owned. Oops, sorry.
It's actually part of the Department of Transportation.
So if you look at the spreadsheet I gave you, this is similar to what the manager sent, and as I said, I amended it to remove, there was items on there like Kelson Row was still on there. 125 Henkel, which is now going to be the vessel, was on there. So I had to pull some things off. And what you see here is in the lighter green, those are all the PA 490 parcels. And the top half of this is the vacant. Also on that list was other, this is in the blue. These were parcels that were listed, we already have development rights on. And then the bottom is parcels in the darker green. Those are all either private or town-owned open space. But see, that doesn't show up on the map I just gave you, so that's why I have the third map. I know it seems like a lot. Here's a small one for you guys to take home on this vacant land one. Hold on. Can't even see property. Bring the photocopier, printers, huh?
Those homeowner associations, they can't be developed anyhow, correct?
Correct.
So that's secured.
I know, I'm giving you a lot of paper here, sorry. Homework. This, as I said, you can't see the parcels, it just doesn't print very well. It doesn't pick up the shaded lines. Same as the little one.
Steve, one thing to note that I saw on the Excel grid is for the Rocky Hill owned properties, the address is off and the zip code is off.
For which ones?
The one, well, that
That would have to be the assessor, because this came from him.
okay.
So I don't know.
757 Old Main Street, 06063, 06059,
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, this came from,
What's this one?
746 Old
Yeah.
Main.
we can fix that, that's not a big deal. It's more the lot. So,
Oh, vacant land, okay.
So this is what?
What's this last one?
I'll explain.
Okay.
So this last one incorporates your vacant land, which was just those yellow and those blue shades. And then this also shows the larger parcels, such as school sites, churches, parks, existing parks. Orange is state of Connecticut owned parcels. The gray are cemeteries. So when you're looking at the vacant, say, oh, that's a big parcel of land. Well, it might already have something. So this way you can see what's kind of already spoken for. And as a matter of fact, town of Berlin owns land in Rocky Hill. Berlin Land Trust over on the west side of town. You'll see in red some hatching. That's town of Berlin land.
For the state land, like on West Street and Maple, do they pay LoCIP on that?
They pay pilot.
Pilot, okay.
It's
that's
a
right.
payment in lieu of
Yeah,
taxes, yeah. So all the orange, yes, they pay pilot on.
Which is what? No, not familiar with that term.
It's just called, payment in lieu of taxes, PILOT.
So they have a.
So I don't know what the formula is. I think the state just says this is what you're getting.
Town.
All right, but they
like
do
a-
pay
Like a
something.
lesser tax rate, but they
Yes.
pay something, yeah.
They're paying something.
It's funded at like half percent versus what it's,
Yeah, I really don't know. We'd have to ask the assessor on that.
So if we, and this is just hypothetical, if we took over acreage from the state, it would be to our detriment because we'd be losing on that pilot, right?
True, but you could also utilize it. So if you look, say on this map right here, see the north arrow? Go a little southeast and you'll see what looks like a blue honeycomb. That the town took over from the state. I'm not sure when, but we took that. That was going to be the
That was about 2 or 3 years ago.
off ramp that was going to get on that beltway around Hartford.
Yeah, that I-291.
Yes. So that's a parcel we took over. Actually, Elmridge Park all came from the state veterans home. So it's been utilized as something else. Quarry Park, state-owned. I don't know if they're ever going to turn it over to us. I thought there's something in the works, but that's state-owned, and you know, we utilize it as a park. So it can be beneficial. You're not going to collect taxes, but it's beneficial for the resident. So as I said, this map kind of shows it all without the smaller parcels. This is 5 acres and over of open space, so that'll be your yellow or your honeycomb blue for the town. Green is going to be your parks. There's a blue hatching, which is where we already own development rights. And then the reason I also want to show this is the green hatching is open space. So, you know, you have, quote, vacant parcels or open parcels, but that's already dedicated as open space, so it's, really can't do much with it.
When a new development goes in, they have to preserve
Yeah.
10% or something like that?
And the regulations always change, but, and what's interesting is, prior to, I don't know, the mid-2000s, I would say, they're all private, if you look, because I have 2 different hatches there. So you'll see, like, up in the Ridgewood, it's private open space, and Pheasant Lane is private open space. And then when you get up into, say, Whitewood Drive, which is 2000s, it was dedicated to the town. You know, and all the newer stuff from like 2000 on went to the town rather than the associations. So this is what is out there available.
so what is this large yellow chunk that Sawmill Brook runs through between the,
That is Meisterling's farm.
and that shows up very large in the map. Is that a collection of smaller parcels?
Nope, that's
I didn't,
it's on your list here. List.
or is that the farm?
The farm, yes, it's called the farm. It's like 112 acres, I believe.
119.
So yes, that one's called the farm. So, yeah, for some reason, some of the numbers are missing. We can amend that, but this just kind of gives you an idea of what's what. Some of the odd things are like, some of these parcels, I'm trying to find it, I think it's like 85. 8510, there's some that have an address not on the road that they face. It's kind of weird. Yeah.
And the difference between the category open space town and vacant land town, is there a land use restriction or difference between them?
It's, when the subdivision was built, they had to dedicate X amount, X percent of open space to the town. Unfortunately, back in the 60s or 70s and 80s when they're doing this, usually it was wetlands that they give you.
Yeah, like this off of North Road doesn't look like it's, on either side of North Road, it doesn't look like it's a attached to a subdivision, or if that's.
Yeah, that's open space that we already own. I think we tried to acquire the little white piece, there's a little box below. We weren't able to get it, so it's now being developed as a house.
But is there anything that could be, like, could any of this be
Parks.
used
I think
for
you could
parks
do
or
that park.
agriculture?
I think it'd be like for passive.
Town.
You'd have to see what the deed says. Each parcel's probably gonna have different deed restrictions. So we have to go to each one.
Steve, where's that 4 Esther Road that the state owns, 83 acres? Where's Esther again?
That's Quarry Park.
Oh, that's Quarry Park.
That's Quarry
okay.
Park. Is that still on the list? Or shouldn't, I thought I took that off the list.
Oh, Esther, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, 4 Esters. That's Quarry Park. Yeah, that's one that he sent out that
I'm
shouldn't have
looking
been
at
on
the-
there.
The prior list.
Yeah.
What's that 300 Pleasant Valley Road, 53 acres?
So see the thing, the yellow down in the industrial park, it looks like a little Scotty dog?
Oh, that's.
Scottish Terrier, that's that. Yeah, like I said, some of these aren't on. So that has actually a new owner. Russo Brothers sold that within like the last year. Not sure what they plan on doing with it, but there's a new owner there. I think it's the same owner that owns the parcel. You'll see a nice yellow parcel on the north side of Brook Street between 553 and looks like 651. I think same owner as that parcel in the industrial park.
That Pleasant Valley landlocked?
Yeah. They might have access from Cromwell.
Some right away.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think there's a road in from Cromwell. But there was like an unwritten easement across when Russo's were mining that.
So the next, I mean, what would be the next step? Because, you know, what I had envisioned was really targeting those that could be developed into residential and not really focused on commercial, because we want the commercial. It's just, you know, my fear is either, you know, off a popular route, an apartment complex could go in, or a small subdivision, and I think that's what we want to try and avoid.
Yeah, I mean, these guys will squeeze apartment complexes on an acre lot now, or half-acre lot, as we saw with, over here with the vessel. Yeah, so, yeah, probably identify which ones make sense to try and get the rights. You know, you gotta take into account the wetlands, the topography,
Right.
you know, that kind of,
And then
Kinda
the
data.
owner would probably want their appraisal. of
oh yeah,
their-
we would have an appraisal done. I'm sure they might have their own appraisal done. And maybe meet in the middle.
I think it would also be interesting to look at, of the land that we do have that's either flagged as open space or town-owned vacant land, is any of that suitable to a different use or potentially agricultural use, whether or not that involves a longer-term lease because the land hasn't been used for a while. You know, a new park would be great. That also costs money, so I'm not necessarily proposing that. But if we had a plan that says, that looks at it, you know, what is truly just, this is open space that we're kind of holding, what could be improved, what might be.
Again, we'd have to read each deed and see how it was
Yeah.
transferred to the town, because they might have deed restrictions. So, and again, a lot of that open space is wetlands. That's the way it was done back in the, you know, 70s, 80s. And now,
Would that restrict, would a wetlands designation restrict it from being used for agricultural purposes?
not no, that's not necessary. But again, you gotta check the deed restrictions. Let's see, of the town-owned, you have this strip that kind of goes, well, I'm gonna call Cold Spring Road Extended. It's actually Winter Lane, all in there, wet. You probably couldn't do anything in there. The two parcels that would make the most sense, I think, are there on the west side, sandwiched in where you have the, where you're pointing, sandwiched in between the, where we already have development rights. Because they do abut existing farms. The rest, I don't really think are really,
Is that North Road a paper road, or is that
Yes.
a real? Okay.
yeah, well, you can go walk it, you can walk through. But it's not recognized by the state because it's not paved or even, you know, traversable right now.
That was the issue with the housing that was being built there too.
Yeah, we can't get there from Rocky Hill
Yeah, from here.
with a vehicle, that is. You can get there, you just can't get there with a vehicle. Maybe an ATV.
Well, some of those pieces are heavily wooded as well.
Yep, yep.
So it's
I know they've,
substantial amount to clear.
yeah, so right there in the southwest corner, you have the parcel that we have the development rights on, then you have the parcel next to it that have is open space. I know there's a lot of talk about putting a trail network in there.
So should we, like, individually work on, maybe look through the list and mark down 5 that we'd like to collectively, at
This-
the end, go after?
This is the smaller version of what you're looking at.
Because I think there's some that, there's some that we could rule out.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thanks.
I think.
I mean, that could be the next step, is I could just start going through and look and see what makes sense, what doesn't make sense.
Yep.
What's attractive? Attractive would be right across the street from our farm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that piece just south of Knoll. I mean, it's a good parcel out there. I think it might be,
Is that the same owner as the farm?
No. So
no, I'm talking our farm, the Rock Hill Community Farm,
Oh, where?
right across the street.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, that parcel.
but this one.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Different owners?
yeah.
He used to own it, he sold it,
Oh,
so. But I think it's still taxed as farmland, the PA 490 or whatever you call it.
what's that for Ismo?
No, I don't know.
It's New Road.
I don't
Yeah, for Rismo, right?
think so.
Trinity and
I think he's a couple down.
Yeah, right on the other side
That
of
one is,
New Road.
Vassal.
On the-
Vassal owns that.
yep.
No, that's,
No,
that's
the
across
other
the
side
street.
of New Road, not,
On the west side
not
of
New
New Road.
Britain.
Oh,
west side.
Manco, I think it was. Is Manco on here?
It's, I don't remember.
One
if
that
that
butts
was-
up back of Aphorismos.
Well, it's in between.
It's not, it's Ronan.
And-
But it
Yeah.
goes all the way up to Aphorism.
Yeah,
I think it's I believe it's 430
I think that's
New Britain Ave, which is Ronan,
who's that?
Ronan.
thought it was Manco. Is their name?
Oh, and there's no Mancos on here.
You don't
Oh,
see it?
Joseph Ronan.
I think it's Ronan. Yeah, I gotta get those numbers. I don't know why they didn't show up.
This is, that would make sense.
Oh, 430 New Britain Avenue.
Okay.
25 acres.
I had them on there. I don't know why they're not showing up.
Yeah, that's a whole host
It's on
of
the first
family
one, Steve.
members that
Yeah.
own that.
See what happens when you make these maps and they have
But what'd
layers
you
and
say?
some layers are ahead of others and they overlap, so sometimes the stuff disappears.
Do you know who, you thought it was who?
Yeah, there's a whole host of them. See, there's a plus there.
Yeah, I saw it,
There's
yeah.
numerous family members that own that.
Yeah, so 430. Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be 430.
New Britain Avenue.
Yep.
That's 25 acres.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be
So
ideal, too.
it's a wooded wetland area too, yeah. Yeah, that's a nice
There's
piece.
got a brook that goes all the way through it.
Yeah, you got some big pieces that were, I think, Gardner's. You know, that 460, which is
Right.
adjacent to, I guess it's called BJ's now. And then right on the southern property line, I think that's all also Gardner Nursery. And then you have that Suzio pit.
I was just gonna say that Suzio, I mean, it looks like it's landlocked, but it's not because you know.
It's not, no,
South
there's
Brook
a,
Street.
there is access off Brook Street, but I don't, you got the pond back there, I don't know what you can do with it. I've actually never really been in there.
We used to play in there when we were little.
Yeah, and then also down there on the town line, you have Cisco owns a couple parcels, some of it's wet, but they do own a couple parcels down there that I believe is being farmed, right? Yeah, that's where, that's.
Fairweather Growers
Yeah,
use it.
Fairweather has their
Corn
fall thing
maze,
there,
yeah.
corn maze, so I
So-
think that's what
so
that is, yeah.
One that I was wondering about, Steve, was, it's not even shaded here, 2998 Main Street.
2998
There's
Main
a for
Street.
sale sign in front of it, and it's kind of a large acreage lot.
Yeah, so that wasn't shown because there's a house on it.
With a lot of acreage.
Yes, they actually have had somebody propose a subdivision in there.
And then,
Yeah, that's 2998, exactly. That's probably, maybe it's 5 acres, I don't know. Like I said, it's not on the list because there's a house.
Yeah. And then what's the status of the development off Old Main Street, Zarefus's Road?
Xerifus, yeah, I really don't know what's going on with that. T&M took it over, T&M Builders, I don't know if you're familiar with them. They've been around since the 60s. They're out of Torrington, but they've done housing at Paley Farms, right across the river in Portland.
They had to stop because of some archaeological.
Nah, it's the original. No, they did the archaeological. It's kind of cool watching that. If you've ever seen that, but they did find some Indian artifacts. But no, they had to go ahead and do it. The original owner came in, and there's something with the right of way out the back where the railroad is, and some of his drainage, and there's a big to do with him, DEP. I'm not sure if the DOT got involved, but the DEP basically shut them down. And now there's been a settlement. I think we got $70,000 in that for the town.
Oh, okay.
And then he sold it, I believe, to T&M. I'm not sure if they're the owner, but we met with them last year about getting this project started. And that was probably September, maybe. And haven't seen him since. So, yeah, there's probably going to be some larger parcels on here that may have structures, like you said. But we didn't flag those.
Well, like Chris, near on New Britain Avenue, that house on the hill.
Yeah.
That went for $895 with, 25 acres? I mean, that's something that.
Yeah, that's not on here.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that could have been purchased, the house split off on 2 acres.
Yeah.
The land preserved, you
Yeah.
get your money back.
Yeah,
by
because there's a
selling the
couple
house.
parcels out there that are like that.
Yeah.
So,
Back on the market if you want to put it in an offer.
is it on the market?
What's that, what's the deal with that house on the corner of Colby and New Britain Avenue? It's like abandoned.
It had a fire.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, it had a fire. I think it sits on 9 acres on that corner. And-
Oh, it collapsed.
Yeah,
So somebody bought it. They have a plan. We've met with them.
Oh, okay.
Again,
Builder.
yeah, apartments.
All right, so we should kind of maybe develop a list of 3 to 5.
Good idea. Yeah,
And then collectively,
come back next
back, yeah.
meeting. Great
So,
idea.
in the meantime, I can try and look through some of these parcels and see what makes sense, what doesn't make sense.
Good.
when we put it on the agenda, I think we probably would need executive session so we could talk in a non-public forum if we're talking about strategy.
Yeah, well, strategy, yeah.
We just want to make sure that was on the agenda when it goes out.
I think, to your point, the dynamics have changed with like the apartments. You have
It's
the
big push
low income
everywhere.
bypassing
Yeah.
a lot of the zoning, and they could build anywhere, basically.
Yeah, I mean, there's another article, I think it was this weekend in the paper about that. If anybody still gets a newspaper, I do. Yeah. So that's the big push everywhere is affordable housing, and it seems to be apartment complexes. Yeah. So, and they wedge them in everywhere.
This is actually Maine, and this is 25.
So,
That's 25 acres.
Yeah, he's got
It's
a
back
house
on the
there.
market?
Bought it for $899. It's on there for like 1.4 now.
I want to question.
Anything else?
Right across
any other
the
questions?
Just about, yeah. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah, they did
For
the
discussion, for
gate, whatever.
other business?
Are we there yet? Not there yet.
I don't know if we're there then.
not yet.
All right, okay, well, I'm good with this.
Anything else on this mapping and ideas? Or we'll regroup next meeting. All right, move on to other business. You have some other business, Ms. Gilbert?
Well, I think in future meetings too, it needs to be put on the agenda that we should start putting something in an agenda together for the community gardens over at Straska's, because I'm thinking next year the barn's gonna be complete and people are gonna wanna plant, and I think it's time to come up with a plan so that we can get everything set up, and if people wanna have a plot over there by January, we can say, okay, these are the rules, here we go, and
Yep. We're gonna have to revisit a lot of that too, because where they planned them initially is now wetlands. I mean, you can plant in the wetlands, of course, but
Yeah.
It is wet.
No, put it on the south end of,
It's outside the driveway.
yes, that's ideal.
Yep.
There's
Yep.
you're gonna get a lot of sunlight there and
Yep.
people are gonna be happy,
So,
so.
One of our past members of the committee, Sandy Kelly, has recently gave me a bunch of information of that, different towns that have community gardens, and I'm gonna be looking that over, and I'll forward it to our town manager as well. And,
yeah.
like you're saying, we'll try to come up with some type of policy for that.
Right. What do we want to see
Yeah.
for our
Correct.
community and who's going to utilize it and how many square feet is everybody going to have and,
Right.
Yeah, and how do you get it? Is it a lottery or something?
right.
Correct, yeah. There's several different towns. Sandy Kelly gave me links to, so great
So-
wealth of information, so.
If you could forward
We'll do
those, we
that.
can look at them.
Yeah.
That'd be great, yeah.
Yep, be a big help. We could start with that.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, we should do that this winter, try to
Yep.
get that wrapped up.
We can
so
add that. You know, we're trying, our focus was to get this barn done, meet our
Correct.
deadlines, and then go from there as phase 2, I guess they've been calling it. So,
That's great, great info. Anybody else have anything for other business? All right,
To adjourn?
Second?
all in favor?
All right.
All right.
Right.